I've got an interesting instrument here. It's an Enya EA X4 Pro. Says so right inside the hole there, you can see it. And it's got a graphite top, kind of an interesting looking pattern on it, honeycomb. Sound hole with this little sort of goldish ring around it. The body sits over the fingerboard. In other words, the fingerboard is elevated right there. Its top is graphite. The back and sides look like they're graphite and maybe something else. I believe they call it a composite. Same with the neck. The neck is attached to the body via a couple of bolts inside here. It has a built-in effects center that is, you just hold the volume button here for a moment and you can see it lights up here and it's green when it's charged. And for example, I can set this up to sound, some reverb, let's say. Now that's a lot of reverb. Let's get it a little bit louder. You can hear it. It has built-in chorus. Let's hear that. So it's interesting. I haven't plugged it into an amp yet. I just got this. It turns off the same way. You just hold the volume button. It's heavy. It's heavy. But it feels very solid. And it is very, very loud. And quite bassy. I've heard D35s that weren't as bassy as this thing is. And in fact, it's bassy and mid-rangey. To me, the trebles don't ring as brightly as I might like. Now, these are the strings that came with it. They come with some sort of coated string, and I'll probably change them out right away. Also, the nut is not cut very well. It's not cut as low as it should be. And the action when you get it is about where you might expect. I think it was 1.75 millimeters under the high E, between the high E and the 12th fret, and 2.25 millimeters between the low E and the 12th fret, which is right about in the middle. You might want the low E to be at about 2 millimeters for somebody like me, and the high E you might want it like 1.5, maybe 1.25 if you want to take it down that low. So that's how it sounds right now. The question is, do I like it? I'm not sure. It's got an HPL fingerboard and bridge. The work inside looks pretty clean. It's I don't see certainly any glue or anything anywhere. I'm guessing this thing is all epoxied together. So it's kind of interesting. It comes with a hard shell case. It comes with, of course, strap buttons already attached. Here's one here. And of course, for the output jack, there's a strap button here. It also comes with this very bright, shiny hard shell case. And they give you straps to carry the case. So you could carry the case on your shoulders if you want. And they also give you a leather strap here for the guitar. It's okay. It's nothing. I wouldn't buy the guitar because I'm getting a leather strap for the guitar, but it's a nice little added thing thrown in. The guitar goes for $8.99, and if you can get it locally, that's what you pay for it. I had to get it shipped to me, so I paid extra for the shipping. It wasn't free shipping. But the case is okay. It's not, again, you don't buy it for the case. You don't buy it for the extras. You buy it for the guitar. And it is, like I said, an interesting guitar. I can't wait to sort of dig in and set this thing up. It is very low, mid-rangey, thick. Which probably for singing might not be bad. It's a little mid-rangey and steps on the voice a little bit. I probably will put strings on this that do not have as much overtone in them. These are, actually I don't like phosphor bronze strings anyway. These are phosphor bronze. And so they tend to be mid-rangey anyway, phosphor bronze strings, at least to my ear. So they bring out all the sounds I don't like in a guitar. I prefer it to be sort of a mid-range cut in the guitar. I like the brights to be bright, the bass to be deep but clear. This one is almost too deep. So you can hear that. It sounds pretty amazing. I have a Blue Ridge BR180 that has a big fat bottom end on it, but not as big as this. Big old bottom end. So I'm gonna end this right now, and then I'm gonna do some setup on it and put a new set of strings and see how I feel about it afterward. So it's been about an hour and a half maybe, and I've been working on this, just doing the setup. To give you an idea what I do, I first check the truss rod to make sure it's right. The truss rod was set so that when playing or pressing down, the first fret and the 14th fret and the first fret, and I measure over the distance between the string and the fret over the 7th fret. And it was measuring at about 10 thousandths of an inch, or 1/100th, which is about the thickness of your, if you have an electric guitar player, your first string is about that thick. Often they're 10s. You really want it to be, if you've got good fretwork and the neck is beautiful and all the rest, you can set it by around 4 thousandths of an inch, and it's fine, and it should give you a nice clear tone. You shouldn't have any problems, depending on how hard you play. If you're a hard player like I am, you probably should set a little higher, although I wanted to see. The fretwork on this looks very good out of the box. I did not have to do a fret level and dress on this. And to give you an idea, I had to do that on a brand new Martin M38, and not because Martin did anything bad. It's just that guitars really require that. They get sit in the factory even for a month or 2 or 3 after they're finished, and they get out to a store, and the hot, cold, wet, dry will pop frets up a little bit, and you got to do a full fret level and dress to get it just right. This one I did not. There are a few frets that are slightly high, and when I mean slightly, ever so slightly. The 12th fret and 13th fret on this are just a little higher than the others, but I'm not getting any noise up there. So you can hear it wasn't enough for me to even bother doing a fret level and dress. So the fret work on this thing is pretty amazing. In my previous little video, I mentioned how it's kind of low mid-rangey, thick, and very bassy. It's still got a big old bass on this thing. If I play an E chord, it's just, and it's very loud. It's just very, very loud. I've changed the strings, and like I said, I did the truss rod adjustment, got it down to about 4/1000ths of an inch. I cut the nut so that it feels nice in first position. But before I did that, I lowered the saddle, not a whole lot. It didn't need a lot. I lowered it maybe just under a 1/2 millimeter, so it's just under 1/4 millimeter lower at the 12th fret. And between that and also the slight straightening of the neck, I've got a very nice low action on this thing. Not electric guitar level, but darn close. And then I cut the nut because the nut was not very well cut, and graphited it, of course, put a little graphite in the slot so it moves smoothly, and it now plays really nice, and it stays in tune. You can play that back slowly if you need to. Honestly, when I put a tuner on this, it's right on the money on the 12th fret. One other thing I should mention is that the saddle, although it was only slightly high, it's tusk. And I'm going to leave it at that for now. I'm not going to put bone here for now, but it's tusk. And although it was slightly high and only slightly, the way the top was intonated, the way it was cut to set up for intonation for each string, on the first string especially, they left it a little flat on top. And what that can do is it can give you sort of a dead sound to that first string. And maybe you'll hear it in the previous video that the first string doesn't really ring very well. It rings much better now. Rings nice. And it plays nice. You can hear it's just dead in tune everywhere. So it's nice guitar. I definitely feel completely different about this guitar now than when I did when I first got it. The other strings, I'm guessing they were some sort of coated string, and they really sounded, I thought, awful. Probably some people would like them. This had sort of a deep mid-rangey sound that was very rich with overtones in the mid-range, and you heard it sort of was stepping all over my voice. If I play the same tune now, I don't think it steps on my voice as much. Let me see if I can do it. I once had a girl, or should I say she once had me. She showed me her room, isn't it good, Norwegian wood. She asked me to stay and she told me to sit anywhere. She asked me to stay and she told me to sit anywhere. But I looked around and you get the idea. I think the vocals comes more forward this time than it did previously. Previously it was getting lost in the muddiness of the low mid-range. I could be wrong. I'll listen back to this in a minute, but I think it sounds better to my ear. So it sounds a little more scooped, like I like it. I like the mid-range a little scooped. I like the high end and low end to shine a little more. It still has that ridiculous bottom end, which is okay. You know, I like bass as much as the next person. You know, it's all about that bass. Or nice sound to it, and it rings like crazy, as you can hear. Really goes on for a long time. Another thing that's kind of nice, and I wasn't sure I'd like it, is this sound hole up here. Now, all my guitars, You can even see on this little piece of junk here, this is a little travel guitar made by Great Divide. I cut a sound port in them because I like to be able to hear it. I'll be 65 in a few months, and so my ears aren't as good as they used to be, and part of it's because I used to play a lot of electric guitar too. But it's nice having this close to me. I'm hearing it loud in this ear. So when I play with bluegrass bands and things like that, and the guitar usually isn't loud enough, I'm going to be able to hear myself with this. I don't need to cut another hole in the side. So there's a lot of really nice things about it. I don't know if down the road I'll feel the same. I do know that this guitar sounds its best and will sound its best with a new set of strings, and that's it. It is carbon fiber top, and it's not like the carbon fiber is going to get better over the years, at least not that I know of. It's going to just sound like this. This is the best it's going to get. However, this is pretty good. It's not a bad sound. It has a nice balance, has a nice string to string. It sounds nice and even, has a nice tone. So definitely different strings sound better. Like I said, these are the strings I put on it, the Martin Retros. These are light gauge. The reason I use light gauge is because, again, the bass is so fat. I wanted to brighten it up. So it seems to have helped. And it thinned out the mid-range a little bit too, which is nice. It isn't so rich in the mid-range. So I got rid of the phosphor bronze coated things and put on some just plain Martin Retro. By the way, if you've never used these strings before, give them a try sometime. They sound pretty nice. They're very dry, not a lot of overtones, but they last a long time. You'll put these on, and if you even bother to wipe them occasionally off, they'll last like months and months and months. Great strings. Well, there you go. So it's the Enya EA X4 Pro, as opposed to the EA X4 Amateur. No, there's no such thing. It's the Pro version. Why ever they called it that, who knows why. Anyway, there you go. Nice playing guitar. Sounds nice. I may also, some point, just so you know, the nut feels like it's cut slightly thin, the grooves. I might cut them a little wider, but otherwise, this thing is easy to play. It actually sounds nice. Definitely worth every penny they charge for it. Take care.